Okay, so just another quick practice in hiring workers. So here's the scenario. You are the boss. Hold on a second. Let me get it rolling. You and your partner own a business. Assume that you are selling the goods in a perfectly competitive product market. So your price is constant at $10. So whatever it is that you have, you're going to sell at $10. You don't have to worry about that changing and kind of monkeying with the scenario. So we can sell whatever it is that you're going to produce. You can sell your widgets for $10. Okay. Assume also that you're hiring workers in a perfectly competitive resource market. All right. So and the wage is constant at $15. So you know how much your employees are going to cost you. You know how much you can sell your product for. Okay. We won't worry about any fixed costs. We'll just assume right now that wage is the only cost that you have in this scenario. Okay. So to maximize profit, how many workers should you hire? Well, let's use the following data. So this is, we're going to put a table into use here and really get into the numbers of what's going on. Okay, so let's take a look. 0 workers, obviously they're not going to produce anything. 1 worker can produce 7 widgets. 2 workers can produce 17 together, or a marginal product of 10 units. Okay, that's important to go ahead and start looking at. Third worker, if we hire a third worker, these 3 together can produce 24, or a marginal product of 7. A fourth worker, they can produce 27 total, or a marginal product of 3. Notice what's going on here. We get another marginal product. This time it's only 2, this time it's only 1, and it actually ends up going negative at one point. Okay, this is another example of 3 stages of return when we're talking about diminishing marginal return. If you recall, when we talked about diminishing marginal utility, we had the 3 stages. This is the same concept, just the flip cow, and we're talking about diminishing marginal return. Okay, it's going to go up at first, then it's going to level out, and will eventually go negative. Okay. Can you see the 3 stages? Well, let's talk about it. We go from 0 to 7. We get a big jump. We go from 7 to 10. We're still increasing. From there, we go from 10 back down to 7, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and eventually a negative total. A negative marginal product, even though the total product obviously is still going up. Okay, so the way we're going to figure out how many workers we're going to hire here is we got to figure out how much is each worker worth. Okay, we know what they cost. They all cost us $10, but what are they worth? Okay, and here's what I mean by that. Let's look at the first worker. The first worker can produce 7 units by himself. Well, what is he worth to us as a business? Well, if I can sell, I'm sorry, I told you wrong. The wage is $15, not 10. If I can sell 7 widgets and my company can sell those widgets for $10 each, I'm worth $70 to them. Okay? My wage, however, is 15. So I can produce my company $70 worth of product. I'll only cost them 15. I'm going to be a pretty good hire. Okay? And so we're just going to, at that point, do a marginal analysis, right? We're going to go worker to worker to worker and see what makes sense here. Okay, but let's look at a lot of numbers. I'm going to look at some more numbers here. Okay, we're going to look, well, we talked about just a second ago, what's happening to the total product. Why does this occur? It occurs, notice, number 1, what's happening to total product. Number 1, why does this occur? Diminishing marginal returns. Number 1, where are the 3 stages? We talked about the 3 stages. It's going to go up, then it's going to start decreasing, and then it's going to go negative. And that's just kind of a review. You're not really going to need to know that, but just the idea that you can see that. Okay, now let's take a look at the numbers. Well, the marginal product is something that we went over just a minute ago. We went from 0 to 7, from 7 to 17, from 17 to 24. So every time we hired a worker, this is the marginal product. That's a big deal. That's a big number that we need to know about, because that tells us what this additional employee is worth to our company. Okay? And so this marginal product shows their productivity. It shows us number 2 worker. We know hiring that number 2 worker is a really big deal, because he's bringing 10 more units to our business, 10 more widgets. That 3rd worker is bringing us 7, right? The 4th worker is bringing us 3. That's going to mean something here when we do the math, okay? So why does productivity decrease? There could be a million reasons why, well, not a million, but there could be a lot of reasons that productivity decreases, right? Imagine getting a lot of people behind the counter at a pizza restaurant. Imagine having more, like we did with the landscapers earlier, right? I could hire 3 more guys. I got 1 lawnmower and 1 weed eater. Hiring 3 more guys doesn't help me a whole lot, right? My fixed resources, right? There's something from the past. Our fixed resources are set, and it's just hard to increase. We know that our product price is $10, right? And so this tells us we can use this to now determine, we can quantify what each of these workers is going to be worth to us, right? That first worker is worth $70. That second worker is worth $100. The 3rd worker is worth $70. The 4th worker is worth $30. The 5th worker is worth $20, and so on and so forth. Now, we know from the past, some of you probably already seen the cow here. If we know our cost is $15, they bring us 70, should we hire them? Yes. They bring us 100, should we hire them? Yes. They bring us 70, should we hire them? Yes. 30, yes. 20, yes. 10, Spidey senses should go off. He cost me 15. He's only bringing 10 to the table. I should not hire that worker. Okay? This marginal revenue product shows us how much each one of these workers is worth to our business. Okay? And so, because we know the cost, right, we can now do that quick analysis that I just did with these side-by-side numbers, and we know that there's a problem right here. Right? We know that there's a problem right here. So how many workers should we hire? We should hire 5 workers. If you already had that figured out, then you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. So anyway, side-by-side graph, the wage is set by the market. We accept the wage, and this is where we hire. Now watch. Talking about shifts, what happens to the wage and the quantity in the market if a firm if new workers enter the industry? Well, there's more workers, so we're going to get a shift in supply. Okay, what's that going to cause? That's going to cause the wage to go down. That would only make sense, right? You got people competing to get jobs, so now the wages go down, and we're going to accept the wage over here, and you're going to see our quantity probably go up, right? Because we can hire more workers because the wage is cheaper. So anyway, the shifts are just like they were before. You just got to be able to work them out and step through them. All right, and then this is going to lead to the combining resources video. Take a look at that one, and you're good to go. Email me any questions. Make sure you take the quizzes. We're getting close to the end of this thing. We're going to have a big AP review soon. But jump in, dive in, have fun. Give me a shout if you need anything. See ya.